Good day, learners, listeners, students all over the world. For our Today Economics online class, we shall be discussing about market structure. Market structure. You see, market structure is a side of economics that explains explicitly about markets. And you know that markets has to be a place of contact. You know, what do you mean by market? Market is a place, okay, of contact where buyers, okay, and sellers come together, okay, to negotiate the terms, okay, and conditions of markets. Okay, now when we are talking about markets, it is actually a place of contact where buyers, place of what? Contact, where buyers and sellers comes together to negotiate those terms and conditions of markets. Now, the essence of market is to negotiate those terms and conditions of trade. Terms and conditions of trade. Am I communicating? Now, you know, in economics there is a concept called the concept of trade, or the theory of trade. There is a side of economics that discusses about the economic activities of buying and selling of goods and services, right? You know, we have different categories of trade where we have our domestic trade, our international trade, etc., etc. But we are concerned about market today. Is that taken? And there are two parties or two entities that constitute to market, which are the buyers and the sellers. Is that taken? Now, under this concept, we shall be discussing about types of market, you know, their functions, their characteristics respectively. Is that taken? Now, we have the condition of market, the condition of trade, right, has to do with negotiation. You know, you need to buy and sell goods and services. Now, we now proceed to types of market. Okay? Now, we have different markets, right? We have number one to be market based on channel, okay, channel of distribution, okay. So this is number one type of market based on channels of distribution. That is a concept in economics called distributive trade. You know, a side of economics that discusses about the distribution aspects of production. You know, after when you are done with your production activities, you need to ensure that those goods reach out to the final consumers, because in economics, production is inconclusive without getting to the final consumers. So under this market based on channels of distribution, we have different agents of distribution, the likes of producer or manufacturer who produces goods and services, the wholesaler who buy goods in bulk from the producer and send a smaller quantity to the retailer. So we also have the retailer, and then we also have the final consumers. But the middleman is that of the wholesaler and the retailer. Now, number two types of market is labor, you know, labor markets. Now, what do you mean by labor market? Labor market is a market where employer and employee comes together to negotiate those terms and conditions of employment. They discuss about the mode of payment, the stipends that are to be given to an employee, you know, etc., etc. So that's labor market. And we have a lot of concepts that we do normally discuss under this labor market, where we have our supply of labor and our demand for labor. You know, supply of labor has to do with the available, you know, available labor that are available in a given or in an aggregate economy. So while the demand for labor has to do with the required numbers of labor force, right, that are required to perform a production task in a particular economy. Is that taken? So number three types of market is commodity, you know, markets. Commodity market. Now, commodity market is a type of market that is concerned with the sales of commodity. There is a place where you can purchase your tangible goods, right? So that's commodity market. And we also have financial. This is number 4 types of market. We have financial markets. Okay, financial market has to do with a market where financial facilities are bought and sold, especially financial securities. And under this financial market, we have different divisions, the likes of money market, market for short-term loan, and then we also have capital market, market for long-term loan. That is our financial market, a market where financial securities are bought and sold. When I mention financial securities, I'm referring to shares, stock, debentures, gilt, etc. So we also have number 5, which is market based on price. Is that taken? Market based on price. So we do normally lay emphasis on market based on price under this topic, market structure in economics. Am I communicating? So for our market based on price, I'm going to lay more emphasis on this Roman figure 5, market based on price. So this is a side of market structure that discusses about prices of goods and services. There is who determines the price of goods and services and the quantity that are to be produced in a given economy, So all those are inclusions of market based on price. And our market based on price, this is market based on price. Okay, so that is it, our market based on price. So we have 2 major categories of market based on price. Number 1 is perfect market. Now, what do you mean by perfect market? Perfect market is a market that has no constraint. Market that we can refer to as competitive market is a kind of market that allow a lot of exits and a lot of entrances or entrance. That is, it allow more buyers and more sellers. So under this perfect market, the determinant of price is the forces of demand and supply under this perfect market. So because it is a kind of competitive market, a market whereby there are many buyers and many sellers. Is that taken? So that is our perfect market or perfect competitive market. If you didn't call it perfect market, you may call it perfect competitive market. So it is a market where a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers are welcome. Is that taken? So that is our perfect market. It has no constraint. It is a market without any conditions. So that is perfect market. And number 2 category is that of the imperfect markets. Okay, imperfect market. Now, before I wade into this imperfect market, I would like to buttress this perfect market. We have features of perfect market. Number 1, there is free exit and free entrance. Number 2, there are many buyers and sellers. Number 3, consumers are aware of goods and services. Number 4 is the forces of demand and supply determines the price of the goods and services. Is that taken? So, and we have a lot of features under this perfect market. Another feature is that it is competitive in nature. Yes, there is no preferential treatment. That should be number 6. Is that taken? So those are features that we can deduce or that we can see under perfect competitive market or perfect market. Am I communicating? So we now wade into number 2 aspect. Number 2 aspect is imperfect market. This is a market with constraint. This is the opposite of perfect competitive market. When I discuss about perfect competitive market, I said that it is a market without constraint. But under this imperfect market, it is a kind of market with constraint or conditions or barriers. Am I communicating? So it is a market that allows few buyers or few sellers. Is that taken? So we now have categories of imperfect markets. Okay, imperfect market. Categories of imperfect market. Roman figure 1, we have monopoly Okay. Now, what do we mean by monopoly? Monopoly has to do with a form of